Now for your forecast first, WRBL News 3 First Alert Weather.
Readings are slipping into the mid-50s. Today was a chilly day, had a lot of clouds, but really a pleasant day. What you're about to see is another storm system and why we're going to talk about being weather aware Saturday. We're tracking that system now. You can see it out west. We got a nice circle around it, highlighting what will be sliding down here across the deep south, and that's coming out in your first alert forecast. And also, we're here live at Mercedes-Benz of Columbus. Why? Mercedes-Benz of your dreams are coming up. The heart raffle we're talking about, and it's very important to listen up. Your chance to win is coming up, but you better hurry quick. Mercedes-BenzofColumbus.com. The news starts now.
Straight ahead, a routine truck route leads to a break in a 45-year-old cold case. News 3 talks exclusively with the truck driver who discovered the car of an Auburn University student missing since 1976.
Plus, we will hear from an influential Georgia state representative on who he's backing in the high-stakes gubernatorial race. News 3 Evening Edition starts right now.
On your side, this is News 3 Evening Edition.
Good evening and thank you for trusting News 3. I'm Phil Scoggins.
And I'm Teresa Whitaker. New details tonight out of Troup County, where investigators now say they found 50 pieces of skeletal remains in the car of an Auburn University student who went missing 45 years ago.
News 3's Elizabeth White speaks exclusively with the truck driver who alerted officers to the vehicle and helped the mystery resurface.
Between 140 and 600.
Every day?
Yes, well, 6 days a week.
East Alabama trucker Jeremy Darling logs a lot of miles in his 18-wheeler.
I'm always looking around.
Yeah.
Driving a big, dangerous vehicle, I have my eye on the road and things that are near to the road that might get in it.
Tuesday, Darling's alertness helped locate the presumed skeletal remains of 22-year-old Kyle Clinkscales. The AU student vanished from a LaGrange, Georgia bar where he worked in 1976.
I was driving to Lafayette to pick up a load, looked off the bridge, and I saw a piece of window sticking up out of the water, and it looked like it was still attached to a car.
Darling called the Chambers County Sheriff. Clinkscales' white two-door 1974 Pinto runabout was pulled from the creek along County Road 83. Inside, investigators recovering 50 kinds of skeletal remains, including a partial skull bone, Clinkscales' wallet, and other personal items.
Wow. Glad to have helped them with that one.
The investigation is ongoing. Previous articles indicating 2 people were arrested in his disappearance, but never charged with murder. Meanwhile, Darling wishes Clinkscales' parents, who spent decades searching for their only son, were still alive to know of the discovery.
Yeah, I would certainly put a lot of effort into finding the child, as he did.
Clinkscales' parents started a nonprofit to help others find their missing loved ones and shared Kyle's story in a book. A picture of their son and his Pinto on the cover. Reporting in East Alabama, Elizabeth White, WRBL News 3, on your side.
News 3 received a statement today from Martha Morrison, a half-sister of Kyle's mom and one of the only remaining living members of Kyle's family.
It reads in part, quote, on behalf of John, Louise, and Kyle Clinkscales and her sister's family, Dan and Martha Morrison, we are deeply emotional right now. We're grateful for this discovery. Now we all can hopefully have a long-awaited peaceful closure. We are looking forward to the affirmation that the remains found are truly Kyle's. Our hope is that we can finish what John and Louise worked so long for, simply knowing what happened to their son, end quote. For the full statement, you can go to WRBL.com.
A Columbus Republican with a high profile under the Gold Dome in Atlanta has picked a side in the GOP gubernatorial race.
Governor Brian Kemp is facing a primary challenge from former U.S. Senator David Perdue. News 3's Chuck Williams broke the story of the latest endorsement today on WRBL.com. Chuck joins us now.
Teresa, Phil, State Representative Richard Smith is the most influential Chattahoochee Valley Republican. In an exclusive interview today with News 3, Smith says he will support Kemp's re-election campaign. The battle between two key Republicans, Perdue backed by former President Donald Trump and Kemp in the former president's crosshairs, promises to divide the Georgia GOP. But that has not stopped Representative Richard Smith from taking a stand. He says this is about having the right person to fend off Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams. Here is what the chairman of the powerful House Rules Committee and a legislative lieutenant for Speaker David Ralston had to say.
You know, everybody said, well, are you going to support Perdue? I like Perdue. Like I said, I voted for him every time he's run. But I told Brian in August that I would support him, and I'm not going to change. I'll sink or rise in the boat with Kemp. I'll lose some votes just because I've come out for the governor. Well, the opposite could be true too. If I came out for Perdue, I'd lose some votes there.
What the governor's reaction to Smith's support was today. Quote, during my first 3 years as governor, we've worked tirelessly alongside great conservatives in the General Assembly, like Representative Richard Smith, to put hard-working Georgians first. I'm proud to have the support of a great leader like Chairman Smith, and I look forward to continue our working together and move our state forward and win in 2022. Phil, Teresa, Smith is the first Republican member of our General Assembly delegation to pick a side in the Civil War. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Chuck. Perdue and Kemp are part of a crowded primary field, including former state representative Vernon Jones. And now, as we head into the break, we want to thank you again for trusting News 3.
Coming up, a local effort to combat cardiovascular disease. How you can help when we return.
News 3 is on your side with Teresa Whitaker, Phil Scoggins, Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald, and Sports with Rex Costello. on your side. You're watching WRBL News 3 Evening Edition.
Cardiovascular disease is the single leading cause of death in Georgia, killing more than 20,000 people every year. The American Heart Association is working to reduce that number through research, education, and training.
And one of the Heart Association's biggest local fundraisers is just around the corner. Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald joining us live from Mercedes-Benz of Columbus with a preview of the 2022 Heart Raffle. Bob?
Yeah, what a preview, Phil and Teresa. Teresa, you know, you laid out those sobering statistics. It's incredible how people know heart disease is nothing to mess around with, and stroke, and it affects so many people. 20,000 people pass every year from this disease, and it takes a lot of programs and education and much more. We just sold 60 tickets in the last hour when we were here, so they're going fast, Richard, and we're selling more.
You know, what we're doing this year, we're selling 2,500 tickets. They're $150 a piece. So you get a chance to win one of two $50,000 vehicles of your choice. Now, this year, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to draw for the beginning, the first ticket out. You kind of feel sorry for that, right?
Right. Oh, yes, yes.
$10,000.
Oh! Did you hear that? $10,000 in the first drawing.
That's right. And what we're going to do when we sell all the tickets, and we will, we're actually ahead of last year's sales. We will set a record for how much we raised in a single year. Last year, I think we saved about $175,000 was donated. Right. We should be well in excess of $200,000. We've raised over $1 million over the 20 years. It's been so big the last several years. Don't miss out. The easiest way to do it is go to mercedes-benzofcolumbus.com. You can buy a ticket in about a minute and a half on your smartphone, your tablet. You'll feel good about it. If you don't want to buy one for yourself, buy one for somebody else for the holidays.
I think it's a great stocking stuffer.
Absolutely. January 22nd, we're going to give away 2 cars.
Fantastic. And up to $50,000 you can put it towards, or just get one of your dreams. And you have a lot to choose from. We know that. Any color, too, right?
You could order one. It's the car of your choice.
Yeah,
so we'll make it all about you.
Sounds good. Mercedes-Benz-Columbus.com. It is a reverse raffle, Phil and Teresa. Could you imagine that? Normally when your first name would be drawn, you're out. This time the first person will be $10,000. You can win either way. This will be great.
All right. Thanks so much, Bob. And you are watching News 3 Evening Edition. More news straight ahead.
Bob has your first alert forecast when we come back in 3 minutes.
Hurt by a big truck? 1-800-CALL-KEN.
One call, that's all.
on your side. Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald has your first alert forecast.
All right, before you know it, we're going to be talking to Michael Porter and Karen Preston. This is going to be a really good segment here, and we're going to talk more about that. But first, this weather, guys, I'll tell you something. Windshield wipers better be ready, especially if those that are a little dry rotted. Have you changed yours today? How about that? We're looking at some rain coming in tonight, and we'll see it just before the midnight hour coming into the early overnight. You know, meteorologist Cody Nickel will be tracking that for you tonight on the night watch. And you could see Friday, we're looking at morning rain to kind of spotty showers with meteorologist Nicole Phillips. She'll be tracking that too. The wet commute will not be anything like we had the other day, but there is a warm front entering. That's important note. That primes the atmosphere for some showers passing. Doesn't mean it's all day and it's constant, but you will encounter a shower here, and maybe one to the south, one to the north. But either way, the atmosphere is warming up, and that means we have to watch for a setup for some strong storms ahead of a very strong system. So I'm going to jump ahead to Saturday now. Early afternoon through northwest Alabama, possible tornadoes there. We'll probably be in a higher risk level there for the potential severe storms. By the time it gets here, as it is now, we're in a low risk, 1 out of 5, 5 being the worst, 1 being the least. But when it does come through, this front will bring in a line of showers, maybe some strong gusty winds in the afternoon. Let's jump ahead a little further now. Some good signs of it weakening a bit by around maybe 7, 8 around sunset. There could still be a few that brings in damaging wind, possibility of maybe an isolated tornado, but we're not seeing it real great in coverage. So we are watching it closely when that front zips through. You can see by Sunday it's cloudy at first, but Sunday afternoon it will clear up, and so will next week. Let's talk about an overcast skies that we're looking at in the overnight, 57 degrees with some showers for your morning. And that warm front listen, aha, that's why we're 75 degrees coming up tomorrow. In the 7-day first alert forecast, we are weather aware Saturday. First alert weather team from 4 to 11. We may change that. Stay with us online, WRBL.com, and of course next week we get a little bit of a reprieve and a break. Well, any time of the day, any time of year, anybody could be impacted by a heart attack or stroke. We know people, we've been touched individually. It's important to get ahead of this through education, programs, and much more. And we need the money, and this is why, because Karen Preston's here with the American Heart Association. Tell us, Karen.
That's right, Bob. So heart disease affects everyone, whether it's you personally or a relative or a friend. So the mission of the Heart Association is so important because we are fighting for longer and healthier lives. So grateful for Mercedes-Benz to do this year after year, because the money that it raises goes directly to the mission of the Heart Association.
It sure does, and we have the reverse raffle that's going to help that and get a Mercedes-Benz of your dreams. But of course, Michael Porter, it's touched you. He's our heart ball cheer coming up next year. Been working hard to get the message out.
That's right. Yeah, heart disease, again, like Karen said, it impacts everybody, whether it's family or friends. It's been prevalent in my family for generations. So when Karen came to me and asked me, hey, would you be the chair for 2022 for the Heart Ball? It's a no-brainer. I mean, I work at AFLAC. They are always constantly promoting, healthier lifestyle, healthier community. And so the mission of American Heart is near and dear to my heart. And what we're doing here with Mercedes-Benz, who's been with us for 20 years doing this. Again, go out there, mercedes-benzofcolumbus.com, get your ticket, $150. This great prize. It's 2 vehicles worth $50,000?
Yeah, up to $50,000, any color, whatever one you want to apply it towards that. And to do it, guys, let's do it together. Now, let's try it this time. Last time we couldn't do it. Go to Mercedes-benzofcolumbus.com. Easiest way to do it. Phil and Teresa. Good job, guys.
All right, Bob, thank you so much.
It is Thursday, time to honor our newest athletes of the week.
And this week we honor a team that hopes to bring back a state championship on Friday.
Of course, guys, the Carver Tigers have 1 game left in their season, and like you said, it's for the state's biggest prize. Before they head up to Atlanta, we gave them a little hardware from News 3. We honor the Tigers as our newest athletes of the week right after the break.
side, Sports Director Rex Castillo and WRBL News 3 Sports.
The Carver Tigers are on their way to the state championship game for the first time in 14 years. Now, many fans hope they can bring back a state title tomorrow, but we at News 3 gave them another honor, our Athletes of the Week award. Carlos Williams has more.
The Carver High Tigers football team has exhibited a never-say-die attitude this season en route to their championship matchup against Benedictine. Take, for instance, last Friday night's semifinal round showdown against Cedartown. Just when it seemed like Coach Corey Joyner's team was done for the season, the Tigers found a way to win.
Man, being down by almost 10 points, man, being down by 2 scores, that was kind of new to us, you know. But I like the way our team fought back and showed the resiliency to not to give up, not to quit, and it showed some character. We showed some character out there, and that was very exciting for me.
And just when did Coach Joyner know that this year's group would be special?
Oh, we knew it coming in. We knew it coming in because a lot of these guys have played since their sophomore year. This is their 3rd year playing with us. Some have gotten some of the playing time their freshman year. So we knew coming in the special team that we had, and I think before we even took the job, I had already said we were going to be in this position before I took the job.
Now, in order to bring home a state championship, the Tigers would have to take on yet another tough opponent. This one, the Benedictine Knights from Savannah, Georgia.
They got a quarterback that's outstanding, man. I mean, he really runs their offense. They jump from a spread offense to an option offense. And so being able to be diverse like they are, it's going to be tough for us. It's going to be a very tough game.
And with that, we say good luck and congratulations to the Carver High football team, our latest WRBL Prep Zone Athletes of the Week. On the hill at Carver High School, I'm Carlos Williams reporting for News 3 Sports. On your side.
Also in Columbus, this Thursday saw the return of the Sports Division's high school football luncheon, recognizing the top athletes from across the Chattahoochee Valley in middle and high school. The guest speaker, that man, the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Nick Saban. Now, while the coaches are hard on the recruiting trail, the Tide are getting ready for Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl, and they know it won't be an easy matchup against the Bearcats.
We haven't been around them much because we've been recruiting, but everybody was excited about what we're able to accomplish in this last game and know that things get more difficult. You know, nobody dies climbing Mount Everest when they're at base camp. They all die at the top. All right, so more treacherous at the top, more competition, and we have to grow and develop and be ready for it, and everybody has to have the right mindset to be accountable to do their job at a high level on a consistent basis.
Of course, you know, Coach Saban will have the Tide ready. That'll do it for sports, but stick around. There's more News 3 coming up right after this.
on your side. You're watching WRBL News 3 Evening Edition.
I'm doing these stretches and poses now. I'm thinking health and fitness all the time. You know, you have to when you talk about heart health. But we are talking about just being safe this weekend when we're traveling. Take one last check of that 7-day. We have to be weather aware Saturday afternoon especially. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Meteorologist Cody Nickel will have more tonight at 11. And meteorologist Cody Nickel will pass the baton back to Nicole Phillips in the morning, and we'll be with you this weekend. And it's time to buy a ticket because
Mercedes-Benz-of-Columbus.com
are going fast, so you better get one as fast as you can. Phil and Teresa, I'm going to send it back inside to you, but it is a big day.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. And we thank you for watching News 3 Evening Edition.
Have a safe and pleasant evening, everyone.
Good night.